Are you tired of your government's fraudulent elections, the constant invasions from foreigners, your weak military's inability to defend your homeland? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then we believe we have the government for you.
Fascism originated in Italy in the immediate aftermath of World War I, combining more typically right-wing positions with elements of left-wing politics, in opposition to liberalism, Marxism, and traditional conservatism. Fascism was first started by Benito Mussolini, who led the fascist revolution in Italy. His government was socialist but was characterized by intense nationalism and military action. Mussolini's government would later be used as a standard to define other fascist governments. Fascism is a form of authoritarian nationalism, meaning that it's based around the citizens' complete unquestioning obedience to the nation, along with a strong sense of national identity. Fascism is most often practiced under a one-party dictatorship like Mussolini or Hitler. These charismatic dictators serve as national icons to raise patriotic fever and hold immense power over the citizens. There are often other members of the government who have a say in policy, but they are appointed by the leaders and play a much less public role in the dealings of the government. Fascism is characterized by militant nationalism. Citizens are trained to think their nation holds superiority over others, and that because they are superior, they have the right to dominate them as they please. Fascism emphasizes direct action, viewing violence as a political necessity to achieve goals. Economically, fascist governments use economic planning in both the private and public sectors and allow a mix of the control of the means of production between the government and corporations. They emphasize that industries must uphold the national interest as superior to private profit. One benefit to fascism is its enhancement of security. The military plays a vital role in the fascist system since it's required for protecting national security as well as fighting enemies. Most of the nation's resources are given to the military. Fascism gives more significance to the state in contrast to the citizens' rights, and thus military productivity is a vital state interest. This leads to a better military, thereby increasing security. Fascism also promotes patriotism. Fascism is essentially concerned with the protection of national agendas. Individual rights normally take second place, while national policies are provided first priority. Since patriotic symbols, flags, and slogans can be seen everywhere, fascism encourages patriotism. The citizens will thereby be united so as to eliminate any perceived threat to the state. One last benefit to fascism is economic growth. Since fascism involves the total authority of the nation with control of major parts of its commerce, it can boost economic growth. Fascism compared to theocracies. Theocracies and fascist states use similar methods to control their populations. However, theocracies usually base their control around religious fervor, and fascist states usually use intense nationalism. National pride is much more effective because its control is based off of something much more tangible to the people. And while multiple states can claim the same religion, only one nation can hold the power when it is based off of its national pride. Compared to democracies, these two governments are practically polar opposites. Democracies put all the power in the hands of the people, while fascist states rule from all the power being put in the hands of the state. Fascist states convince its citizens to put all the power into the state, while democracies must beg its citizens to use its powers. Ultimately, fascist states are much more effective and are able to make harder decisions for the good of their states and their citizens that democracies would never be able to make. Lastly, compared to a dictatorship, these are relative in that they are both examples of very authoritative power, but they contrast mostly in that all the power is in the hands of one ruler in dictatorships, while with fascism, the power is in the hands of the state. Fascist governments differentiate themselves from simple dictatorships in the national pride that they create. This national identity allows fascist governments to be much more effective than simple dictatorships because they often have more support from the citizens. Now, to look at two successful examples of fascism, we first look at Benito Mussolini in Italy when fascism was first developed, and secondly, we can look at Germany under Hitler and the National Socialist Party. Germany flourished into one of the largest countries on the face of the earth, and thanks to Germany's nationalism and strong military, it was able to expand and dominate the weaker countries around it who sought to oppress it.